Hey, Michelle is back. Michelle is back. I think this is video 10. Honey, I'm on a roll on this January 30th, 2026 on a Friday. So I wanted to put out a series of videos on this subject because everybody's talking about it. But a lot of people are cowardice because they should have been talking about this years ago when they recognized that there was an issue. Now, it wasn't until 2022 when I had an opportunity to talk about certain subjects that were necessarily not talked about and I knew would pose a risk to my safety, but I didn't know how far people would go to keep you quiet. I should have known because, when you think about the Black female icons, what happened to them, it makes sense why, certain female icons were silenced in some way or fashion. And I felt it was my responsibility to talk about certain subjects. And I know there's dangers with everything. Okay? So when are we going to stop being so cowardly scared of everything? Okay, there's a lot of things going on. And it's not like I'm talking about something that none of us could research. I'm not sharing any kind of damn secrets because I don't have secrets. Okay? I'm a private person, but I understand what that means. And it doesn't mean a goddamn thing, actually. If anyone wants to know anything about me, all they have to do is know how to manipulate artificial intelligence, which artificial intelligence is going to figure that out, that they're being manipulated to disclose a certain amount of information. You can order this or order that. You can find out where people live, find out what people are buying, what people are selling, who they're sleeping with. All that can be found out simply by clicking certain buttons. So it's not necessarily in the hands of these criminal negative elements. Genuine, so-called righteous, which are most likely self-righteous, know how to, manipulate, deceive, and find private information about people too, because they're doing the same thing as a criminal negative energy. These self-righteous religious people are doing the same thing as the criminal negative energy because they're all a part of it. Okay, I've said it. So a lot of Black female icons were silenced, or like Angela Davis, Billie Holiday, Nia Simone, all of these people, the woman from Barbados. There's so many of them, it's hard to keep up with them. But they were icons attempting to wake up, our humanity. But they were silenced. Some of their lives were somehow, Maya Angelou was part of it. Dionne Warwick, these trailblazers were attempting to, wake up the population. And sadly, a lot of them got themselves caught up in the madness of it all. They got themselves caught up in the religious indoctrination of it all. And there's this one icon that, she put out some great disco music back in the day. People were dancing to her music. She was an icon, a musical icon. There's actually plenty of them. And then somehow she got caught up in the indoctrination of religion. And then it was all downhill from there. Her health, and then eventually she died really early. And it happens to quite a few of us, a few of them, not us, but a few of them, where, everything is great. They are opening up the conversation. Then all of a sudden, something happens. And then they, like this one female icon back in the 80s, I think it was, this person was on top of the world with dissemination of information. I thought she was moving towards a more logical, non-religious type of content, but she got silenced, and then so she went another way. She started. Did she become creative? I think she became. She did become creative, but she also became just like them, attempting to control, contain, isolate, manipulate, deceive. Unfortunately. So, what I wanted to talk about is okay, I'll get that later. What I wanted to talk about again, I'm going to say it again. Transgenderism is a consequence of our overpopulation. Find out what that means. What does that mean? Think about it as far as nature is concerned, flora and fauna, with our animals. If there's an overpopulation of animals, what do? Sometimes we counter with other animals to, say for example, we have a massive issue with rats, right? So what do they usually? So what they do is they'll train cats to go after them. I believe cats naturally, were going after mice and mouse, the mice and the mouse, blah blah blah. But what happened is we domesticated a lot of the cats. Bringing them in our home, and one of them is our companion, mostly in bed, our bed companions. Not allowing them to go out and be wild. They're wild. But this domestication took place thousands of years ago. And so we're just living with the consequences of the type of animals that they are. They are domesticated. So they're not going to be able to go out in the wild per se and do what they were, born to do unless you train them. So they trained them to, to go after the mice. And the same thing. So now when you hear there's an issue of overpopulation of a particular animal, guess what they're doing to them? They're going out and killing them. Intentionally poisoning them. So what do you think they're going to do to human beings eventually? I want you to marinate on that and think about that. I'm not going to go any further, but trust me, I will be back.